A half century ago in 1973, that year was filled with history. The United States ends its involvement in the Vietnam War. The Secretariat becomes the first horse-sense citation in 1948 to win the Triple Crown. The first Roe v. Wade decision was made by SCOTUS, and the Sydney Opera House opened amongst other things. But know what else happened? The Toyota Crown had its last year being exported from Japan into the United States. 50 years later, Toyota's bringing it back, and we have a final reveal date, so let's get into it. We're over at the global Toyota page. Toyota will unveil the new Crown for the first time in the world on July 15th. Just know that this is Japan time, so it doesn't necessarily mean July 15th our time, because we're a day behind. So it might be the 14th, and I will be bringing you guys potential hands-on coverage. I don't want to say too much, but yes. Anyways, prior to this, a new Crown special site will be open on Wednesday, July 6th, which is today at the time of recording. So here's the new Crown logo. If we pop up the history of Crown logos, 2012 or 2014 is about the last time we saw this emblem redecorated or re-envisioned. It looks like they're going back to just like a 2D super basic glyph here essentially. It's almost like an emoji at this point with the Toyota Crown logo. Could this replace the Toyota badge on the front of the vehicle when this vehicle gets here stateside? I sure hope so. It would definitely differentiate itself and show the customer exactly what it is. It's the Crown of the lineup. We're not talking about the Century, different vehicle, way more expensive, pretty much a Japanese Rolls Royce. But this vehicle, this is the flagship for Toyota for the majority of the population, I would say. Now, why isn't this a Lexus? That's a whole nother discussion I'm not going to get into, but just know that it could be kind of the forthcoming of what the next generation ES is going to be. So if you missed my video on the changes for the 2023 Lexus ES, make sure to check that out because I talked about the future of that vehicle as well. And I think we'll know a little bit more about the future of that vehicle when we get this information on the Crown. So we're at the landing page for the Crown here, and discover your Crown. World premiere, 7/15, July 15th. Be giving you guys that coverage here first. That is just 9 days from the recording here. And we also have these interesting buttons at the bottom. Test drive reservation. That is going to lead me to like a store search in Japan. Sedan or SUV, I forgot to bring that up. And we know what this vehicle is going to look like based off of patents that have been not necessarily leaked. It's just been found out. Someone discovered the patents. I'm going to bring those up real quick for you. And that's why they're asking, is it a sedan or an SUV? We've been hearing potential sedan plus. They don't really know what to call this thing. And here we have what looks to be a raised coupe-like sedan with the flowing roofline. We have big 21-inch wheels on this, a light bar that goes across the top, kind of like this mesh pattern. Bottom grille here, a little design line at the bottom. Kind of reminds me of like little whiskers. Not quite to the extent of, let's say, the Catfish, which is the Sonata, which this vehicle will cost probably double the Sonata. We also have this kind of triangular piece at the bottom of the door trim. Looking at the side angle gives you a better idea of just the proportions. When I see this, I start thinking like Honda Accord Cross Tour that we had a few years back. Obviously a lot more modern and more edgy looking. And then we also have an image of the back here, which is definitely a striking angle of this vehicle. And this might be the highest resolution shot I have. So we have a light bar that goes across the back, kind of to match the light bar that goes across the front of the vehicle. And I mean, just based off what we see here, this might be the ridge for the trunk, or this might be the ridge for the trunk. It's kind of hard to tell, but I don't see this being a liftback. But again, wait for official details on the 15th. And just like on the front, we had kind of like that whisker bar at the bottom. We have a very similar bar here at the bottom of the vehicle that might almost be flipped upside down compared to the one on the front. But definitely there is some congruency between the front and the back. Now going back to the landing page, if I click request catalog, don't know what this is going to do. I don't expect a catalog to be up for this vehicle because it's not officially announced. So it just gives me some catalogs of different vehicles available in Japan. And here's the new Crown. So let's click on this. Does that take us anywhere? Nope. It looks like I don't have access to it, or I'd have to request it, which it's not going to be. They're not going to have that information up. They're not going to share it pre-announcement, if you know what I mean. What is 13:30? That's 1:30 p.m. on the 15th for Japan, right? So what is that like Eastern time? Well, that's 12:30 a.m. Eastern time on the 15th, or if Central time, of course, 11:30, and then et cetera, et cetera. So that gives you an idea. It's either going to be late night, the 14th, depending on where you're at in the United States, or early morning here on the East Coast. Let's talk powertrains. We only know kind of what we've been hearing from Japan, but what we've been hearing from Japan so far has been 100% accurate. Even the reveal date, now it's official from Toyota, but we've been hearing July 15th for maybe 2 or 3 weeks at this point. Those reports coming from Japan say nothing about this 2.4 liter turbo by itself, only a hybrid version of it. Does that mean that's how we're going to see it here stateside? Not necessarily. They could easily put this 2.4 liter turbo in there if they wanted and not have electrification. What is more than likely coming, I can't say 100%, but what we're hearing from Japan is a very similar powertrain to what we see on Toyota and Lexus hybrids, or what we know as like the NX350H or the RX350H. And this powertrain has up to 240, 245 horsepower or so. It's going to have electric all-wheel drive, so you're going to have a little electric motor on the back, around 54 horsepower to propel this vehicle. We're no stranger to this setup. We know that it gets 40 miles per gallon or so in the RAV4 hybrid, and in a sedan, more of a sedan, more aerodynamic-like vehicle, I definitely see 45 plus miles per gallon in this Crown, which is pretty cool, okay? But that's not the only powertrain. We're also hearing this 500H powertrain that has been announced for the RX 500H F Sport Performance is going to be replicated in the Crown. So you're going to have a fat E-axle on the back capable of over 107 horsepower and 124 pound-feet of torque. You also have a strong front motor on it. We don't know specifications on this front motor yet, I don't believe. We do know that it has the 2.4 liter turbo, the brand new engine that we saw on the new NX. It's now on the new RX. It'll be on the new Highlander, etc. It's just going to be replacing the 2GR V6, the 3.5 liter, rest in peace, homie. But the 2.4 liter turbo is going to be connected to a 6-speed automatic and an electric motor, and an electric motor in the back. So very sophisticated powertrain. We've never seen this in the Toyota Lexus lineup before. So the RX will be the first potentially to have it, depending what comes out first, whether the RX or the Crown comes out first. We just don't know. I might take a stab and say the Crown comes out first based off of leaks, potentially as early as October. We'll see though. And it doesn't mean that this 500H powertrain will be available at launch either. I think this is a lock because they've already been producing this. This might actually come to the RX first, and then maybe a few months or a year later. It just depends. We don't have official details. But anyways, this is going to be a game-changing hybrid for sure. This 500H powertrain also uses a bipolar nickel metal hydride battery that was first seen in the Toyota Aqua, which is also known as the Prius C here, but Prius C got canceled, so the Aqua lives on in Japan. They got this new battery, I think it was last year. There's no lithium in the battery. It's like that next evolution of their nickel metal hydride batteries like we see in the Tundra, for example, and changes the layout in it where it can double the voltage, double the power output of it. So it's really, really amazing. It's probably the biggest battery breakthrough for Toyota until we see solid state batteries. We won't see any plug-in hybrids on this vehicle anytime soon. Those are just here for entertainment purposes and maybe for the next TX. So nearly 50 years and 12 generations later, we get another Crown coming to the United States. Now, I must say that this vehicle hasn't been officially confirmed by Toyota for the North American market, but we know it's coming. There's no doubt. This secret is about as best kept as the GR Corolla secret, right? We know this vehicle is coming. So anyways, guys, definitely stay tuned for the channel. Smash the like button if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe for more Toyota Lexus news updates and hands-on coverage. If the stars align, I will be able to bring you some hands-on coverage, some in-person coverage of this vehicle, but can't say anything definite at this point. But I'm gonna end it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves and peace out.